Hi there, this is Dr. פיטר Dubaias, and today I would like to share with you a few hints on how to keep your dog healthy and happy naturally without the use of drugs and processed food. You know, I have a 12-year-old dog too, and he's very dear to me. He's my soulmate, he's my best friend, and he's taught me so much. And I know what it feels like to see our dogs age, and we all worry that we would lose them prematurely. And over the years I've learned that dogs that are in their teens can actually be much healthier and happier than we used to think and used to see. And now they can look more like 7 or 8-year-old dogs, where they're happy and mobile and they're not stiff and arthritic as they used to be during the times when I practiced conventional medicine. So what I would like to do today is to show you and teach you how to take your dog through a healing cycle, which is a process that is relatively simple and you can learn. The first step is to detox, and detoxing is a very important part of any process in nature. You know, nature cleanses the water through evaporation and then running it on streams, and then when it ends up in the ocean, the waves take it, and the sand and the water cleanses, and it's a very natural process. And in medicine, the same thing has to happen. So a few things to remember: if you have a young dog or puppy, beware of over-vaccination, because that is so common and such a serious problem. You know, the immune system of young dogs is learning, and if you bombard it with 15 to 20 antigens, which the conventional veterinary protocols suggest, then the immune system gets either overwhelmed and starts overreacting in the form of allergies, or it will be suppressed and your dog will be more likely to end up with infections or cancer and some other issues that result from not enough efficiency in the immune system. Now, vaccination and the vaccination protocol is a little difficult to explain in a few seconds, but I suggest you to go to peterdubias.com and search for vaccination. There will be a few blogs that you can find. The second part is to look after your dog's food. If you feed processed food, kibble that sits on the shelf for 6 to 12 months, it's no fun, and it's definitely not what your dog likes to eat. He just doesn't have a choice. And I have been feeding and recommending all natural and raw food for the last 15, maybe even 18 years. And I've had absolutely no problems with my patients, and they've done amazingly well. 12, 15-year-old dogs act like 7 or 8-year-old dogs, and they definitely are different. I can see the difference from a distance. You know, if I look at in a dog park at dogs, I'm able to recognize which ones are fed kibble and which ones are fed natural food. And I don't necessarily sell raw food or processed food, and that's why I can just say what I think, because in the conventional practice, quite often there is a motivation to sell special processed foods, and we've been trained by pet food companies about what to use for a certain condition, and sometimes I've noticed that the foods that we feed, for example, for intestinal issues like allergies, contain pork fat like first ingredient, or corn gluten, or something that is definitely not dog's primary diet. So over the years, I've learned that we should not always trust pet food companies about what they are saying and what they're suggesting, and go with what nature intended, and look at the original diet of canines and go from there. So the next step is to provide your dog with essential nutrients, and you know, soil and food is not what it used to be. The soils are depleted because we are taking and we're not replenishing the nutrients the way nature would normally. Because if you think of a tree, it would grow the leaves, and then the leaves would fall on the ground where where the nutrients were taken from, and it would be an amazing recycling process. But if you think of food today, it's transported from one side of the planet to the other, and it never returns where it came from. So it's challenging, and for farmers it is very expensive and difficult to replenish the nutrients, and that's how soils get depleted. Now, this depletion does project in the whole food chain, and our dogs are not any exception. And many people do not know that majority of disease and chronic problems in medicine are actually caused from or by nutritional deficiencies, and mineral deficiencies especially. Minerals cannot be made in the body. Your dog cannot make one single mineral. However, minerals are absolutely essential for proper function of every cell, every organ in the body. So if you think of heart, it needs magnesium and calcium, and the pancreas needs zinc for production of insulin, and I could go on and on and on. But if you do not give these nutrients to your dog, then after a while there's going to be gradual deterioration. It can go for some time, but then you start seeing chronic disease, diabetes, kidney disease, liver disease, and so on. And these conditions quite often could be prevented by providing the right minerals. And that was one of the reasons why I came up with Greenman, which is an all-natural, wholesome food supplement which is made of algae, and it is rich in minerals, which are sourced from Alga calcarea, which is a certified organic algae, rich in minerals. And second, spirulina, which is very rich in amino acids and protein sources. And essential amino acids similar to minerals cannot be made, so it's really important to supplement them, and they're not always in meat or the food that you are feeding. So giving minerals and giving amino acids is it can be a really eye-opening experience, because suddenly a dog that is not moving well and has low energy becomes turns around and is so happy and healthy, and it's kind of incredible. So it can be quite the eye-opening experience to see dogs turning around, 7, 8 years old or 12-year-old dogs, and when you give them the nutrients, minerals, and essential amino acids, they suddenly come alive, and they're younger, and they're happier, and they're more mobile, they have more energy. And people usually assume that dogs are just old, but they're depleted, and all you need to do is to nourish them. So it's really fun to see. Vitamins are a very important part of our nutrition, and most people know that, and in dogs it's not any different. However, what people do not know is that most vitamins are actually sourced from coal and crude oil, which is shocking, I know, but that's how they're made. And usually they come from China. Most of the manufacturers these days actually are in China, and they export them all around the world. And then they're priced from $5 to $50, and they come all from the same source. So when I learned that, I was determined to create an all-natural vitamin supplement that would be certified organic, made of wholesome food, and would be made in the United States or Canada. And I was very lucky to start working and collaborating with a team that has a patented technology, and they grow vitamins in probiotic culture. So Soul Food, the vitamin that we just recently brought to the market, is actually all naturally fermented vitamin source, and it does have some other ingredients such as turmeric, which is known to be anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-cancer. And we put also dandelion leaf and root for liver cleansing, which is a common problem in dogs. They have toxic liver, or they have liver issues, so we put that on. And then we put asparagus on for tuning and toning the kidneys, and parsley as a chlorophyll source, which is an amazing blood cleanser and organ cleanser and digestive aid as well. And we also have apple cider vinegar in Soul Food, which balances the pH and helps digestion. So it's a very different supplement from those that are made of coal or crude oil, and I'm really happy and pleased. And I take the supplements as well as my dog does, my dog Sky. We take the same stuff, and I'm really happy. I'm turning 50 in January 2014, and I can still do a handstand, and I can really enjoy life, and I can actually feel better than when I was 20 and 30, and my dog is the same. The next step is to talk about spine, and I said that spine is a very important energy flow channel for the body. It's the energy highway, and if there are any spots congested, then they cannot flow, and they cannot supply the energy to the organs in the skin. So I have been working with different practitioners, physiotherapists, chiropractors, osteopaths, and massage therapists, and acupuncturists, to ensure that the energy in your dog's body flow. So if people use collars, the thyroid gland gets traumatized, and it gets inflamed, and then the immune system comes and creates antibodies against the thyroid gland, and it leads to hypothyroidism because the thyroid gland is destroyed. So collars are not a good device for your dog, and the very important part of making your dog's spine aligned is actually to take the collar off, or use it just for show, or hanging the tags, the ID tags, and using a harness is much better. We do have harnesses on our website that are front attached, so if your dog pulls, it's like a boat, it turns towards you and it cannot really pull well. What I usually do with my dog, I run my hands along the spine and see if there are any sensitive spots. Dogs usually twitch their skin, and they react if they're sore. And I mentioned that before, that certain segments of spine relate to different organs. So for example, the 10th thoracic vertebra relates to the liver, and then the 11th relates to the gallbladder, and the thoracic lumbar junction, or T1, relates to the stomach and pancreas. I've seen some dogs that injure that segment have digestive problems, stomach issues, pancreatic issues, but they also have higher tendency to bloating, which is quite amazing because most people do not know that, and most practitioners do not know that either. Kidneys and adrenal glands are supplied from the lumbar, third lumbar vertebra, and if that vertebra gets injured, I quite often see kidney disease or adrenal issues. Many dogs that have spinal and back problems have the lumbar area issues, and it is because when they slip and slide, they usually injure that area when the hind legs slip. Many cases of diarrhea and so-called nutritional allergies are actually related to back issues and lumbar injuries. So remember that. I have quite a few articles on my blog as well, and you can just go and read more. And I will be giving you some further information about this issue. So that's about it. I hope that you will find the information helpful, that you will subscribe to our newsletter, and that you will possibly get the products that we make, because we make them with heart and soul, and as I said, I give them to my dog and I take them myself. But even if you don't want to take the products and just came for the information and the knowledge, it makes me really, really happy, because it makes me feel like my worth and my life is worthwhile, and you give me the meaning.